You're cruising at 24,000 feet. The next, you're staring into the open sky, wind rushing through a sudden opening above your head. No warning, no time to react. This isn't fiction. It happened. And it was just the beginning. In this video, we're diving into true stories of aviation disasters that shocked the world. Let's start. On April 28, 1988, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 became one of aviation's most shocking incidents. The Boeing 737 carried 89 passengers and 6 crew members on what was supposed to be a routine inter-island flight in Hawaii. At the controls were Captain Robert Schornsteimer and First Officer Madeline Tompkins, both experienced pilots with over 10,000 flight hours combined. The aircraft, 19 years old, had passed recent maintenance checks, including a Boeing service bulletin and a director's airworthiness inspection. On paper, it was considered airworthy. That day, the plane had already completed 3 round trips between Honolulu, Hilo, Maui, and Kauai without issue. Pre-flight inspections showed nothing unusual. However, one passenger noticed a crack near the fuselage but didn't report it, assuming it had already been addressed. Flight 243 took off smoothly and climbed to cruising altitude, around 24,000 feet. Passengers settled in, unaware of the danger ahead. Suddenly, a loud explosion tore through the aircraft. A large section, 18 feet of the roof and fuselage, detached from the left side. The wind rushed through the cabin. First-class passengers could see the open sky. Debris floated into the cockpit, and the cockpit door had disappeared. The aircraft experienced explosive decompression. Passengers remained belted in, but the cabin crew struggled to stay in place. One flight attendant, Clarabelle Lansing, was pulled from the plane and sadly did not survive. Another, Michelle Honda, was thrown to the floor but managed to crawl through the aisle and assist passengers. The pilots, now dealing with control issues and intense noise, quickly put on oxygen masks. First Officer Tompkins switched the transponder to an emergency code. They attempted to contact Honolulu, but the message didn't get through. With time running out, they began an emergency descent, dropping over 4,000 feet per minute, far faster than typical. Tompkins successfully contacted Maui's emergency channel 18 minutes after 5 o'clock, requesting immediate landing. Kahului Airport is prepared for their arrival. The crew used hand signals to communicate through the noise and debris. Oxygen levels dropped in the cabin, making it difficult to breathe, especially in first class. Once below 10,000 feet, breathing conditions improved. The captain reduced speed and prepared for landing, but a new issue appeared. The main landing gear light turned green, but the nose gear light did not. Attempts to correct it failed. With no time left, the captain chose to proceed, hoping the gear was fully deployed. The landing was rough but successful. The nose gear was intact. The issue had been with the indicator light. After 13 minutes of extreme difficulty, Flight 243 touched down safely. Emergency crews arrived and were shocked by the condition of the aircraft, which appeared severely damaged. 65 people were injured, 8 seriously. Sadly, 1 crew member was lost. Investigators later determined that the aircraft's fuselage had weakened over time due to metal fatigue. The unnoticed crack had likely contributed to the failure. This incident revealed shortcomings in inspection procedures, especially for older aircraft. As a result, aviation authorities overhauled maintenance standards. They introduced stricter rules for the inspection and monitoring of aging aircraft. Although costly, these changes were essential to improve safety. The actions of the crew were credited with saving many lives. Captain Schornsteimer, First Officer Tompkins, and the cabin crew remained calm and professional under intense pressure. Their bravery became the focus of several documentaries. One line captured the extraordinary event: an airplane lost its roof at 24,000 feet. Which moment shocked you the most? The roof tearing off midair, or the pilot hanging outside the cockpit? Drop your answer below. And if you've ever had a scary flight, we want to hear that too. But what happens when the danger doesn't come from the body of the plane, but from the front window of the cockpit itself? Just when you think you've heard it all, this next story defies belief. On June 10, 1990, British Airways Flight 5309 was scheduled to fly from Birmingham to Malaga with 81 passengers and 6 crew members. The aircraft, a reliable BAC 11, was operated by Captain Timothy Lancaster and First Officer Alistair Atchison. Together, they had nearly 2,200 hours of experience in that aircraft type, giving passengers a sense of confidence. The flight began without issues. As the plane reached cruising altitude, the crew began to relax. The seatbelt sign was turned off, and breakfast service was about to start. Flight attendant Nigel Ogden entered the cockpit to check the captain's meal preference. Then everything changed unexpectedly. 2 cockpit windshield panels gave way suddenly. A rapid decompression sent a strong rush of air through the cabin. The shift in pressure caused serious disruption. Loose objects flew, alarms sounded, and Captain Lancaster was pulled partway out of the aircraft, with only his legs caught in the flight controls. The force detached the cockpit door and disengaged the autopilot. The aircraft began descending. Ogden reacted quickly and held onto the captain's legs, keeping him from being fully pulled out. The wind rushed through the cabin, and Lancaster remained partially outside the aircraft, pinned by the pressure. Co-pilot Atchison took full control and declared an emergency. He began leveling the plane while 2 more flight attendants entered the cockpit to assist Ogden, holding onto the captain to keep him secure. Outside the aircraft, Captain Lancaster endured extreme cold and low oxygen at high altitude. His body remained exposed as he pressed against the cockpit window. For a moment, the crew feared he might not have survived. Ogden held firm, knowing that letting go could risk further harm. Despite the difficult conditions, Atchison maintained control and safely diverted the plane to Southampton, an unfamiliar airport. Following air traffic control guidance, he managed a smooth emergency landing. When the plane stopped and passengers disembarked, relief washed over everyone. Incredibly, Captain Lancaster had survived. He had spent over 20 minutes exposed to freezing temperatures and thin air, but was alive. He experienced frostbite, bruises, and minor fractures, but made a full recovery and returned to flying after just 5 months. The cause was traced back to a maintenance error. Days before the flight, the windshield had been replaced. A shift manager performed the task alone, without consulting the aircraft manual. Incorrect bolts, narrower and slightly shorter than required, were installed. As the plane ascended, the pressure stressed the bolts until they failed, causing the windshield to detach and leading to the cabin depressurization. The incident prompted significant safety reforms. Investigators found that maintenance personnel were allowed to self-certify work. That policy was quickly changed. New safety protocols, mandatory checks, and improved oversight were introduced industry-wide. Flight 5309 became known as a story of quick thinking, professionalism, and teamwork. Co-pilot Atchison's calm actions and the crew's determination prevented a far more serious outcome. That all passengers survived remains one of aviation's most remarkable survival stories. The lessons learned from this event helped improve aircraft safety standards globally. Today, air travelers can feel reassured that systems are stronger and safety procedures are more robust than ever. This real-life event remains a powerful example of how skill, courage, and cooperation can turn a crisis into a story of survival. If a pilot being sucked halfway out of the cockpit isn't terrifying enough, wait until you see what passengers witnessed from their window seat when an engine started falling apart mid-air. Ready for the next shock? Before exploring, I have a special 10-second request for all of you listening. If you can help me in any way, just hit the notification bell and hit that subscribe button. It helps this channel so much. And if you do that, I will do everything I can to make this show even better for you. Deal? Connect with fellow aviation enthusiasts and fans of extraordinary flight stories. We're looking at Delta Flight 1425, an incident that caught many by surprise and highlights the importance of aviation safety and engineering. On June 8, 2019, Delta Airlines Flight 1425 departed from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, carrying 148 passengers en route to Baltimore. The flight was expected to be a routine 90-minute journey aboard a McDonnell Douglas MD-80. During the initial climb, passengers reported hearing a loud noise from the engine area. At first, some thought it might be turbulence. But soon, a noticeable metallic smell filled the cabin, and flight attendants acted quickly to assess the situation and keep passengers calm. As the aircraft slowed and cabin airflow was affected, passengers began to feel uncomfortable. Logan Webb, a passenger seated near the wing, looked out the window and noticed damage to one of the engines. The front cone or spinner had detached and was visibly bouncing within the engine. The captain decided to divert the flight to Raleigh, North Carolina, where the aircraft landed safely. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, and all passengers were rebooked on another flight. Initial reports categorized the issue as a possible engine malfunction. Aviation experts later explained that the aircraft was never in immediate danger, as commercial airliners are designed to fly safely even with one engine inoperative. Still, the visible engine damage was understandably concerning for those on board. While Delta Airlines did not provide extensive details on the cause, they later announced the planned retirement of their MD-88 fleet by 2020. Whether this incident influenced that decision remains unclear, but it did serve as a reminder of the ongoing need for maintenance diligence and continuous aircraft safety improvements. In the end, this event underscores the professionalism of the flight crew, the resilience of the aircraft design, and the importance of quick decision-making under pressure. Sometimes, danger doesn't strike at 30,000 feet. It comes when you're just a few feet above the ground. What if your plane's landing gear fails just as you're about to touch down? Flying on a passenger plane can be a source of anxiety for some travelers, especially when the aircraft is smaller and more sensitive to weather conditions. On February 23, 2017, the passengers aboard Flight 1284 experienced an incident they won't soon forget. The flight, departing from Edinburgh, Scotland, was headed for Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. It was a turboprop aircraft with 8 engines, reliable, but different from the standard jet experience. Due to poor weather conditions, the flight was delayed by 90 minutes. Eventually, it was cleared to land with 59 passengers and 6 crew members on board. As the plane made contact with the runway, a mechanical failure occurred, and the right side landing gear collapsed. The moment was tense, but the crew remained professional and the passengers stayed calm. One component of the landing gear broke and damaged the fuselage. Thankfully, no one was injured. As a precaution, airport emergency services were called to the scene. The Dutch Safety Board conducted a thorough investigation, which took over a year. The final report detailed a few contributing factors. First, a faulty proximity sensor had gone unnoticed. Second, a structural flaw in the landing gear's yoke, a part that connects the wheels, had been present since manufacturing. These issues, combined with challenging weather conditions, led to the gear strut failing under stress. Despite the technical failure, the landing was ultimately controlled, and everyone was able to exit the plane safely. Aviation experts often say that any landing you can walk away from is a successful one, and in this case, that proved true. This incident served as a reminder of the importance of rigorous maintenance checks and detailed inspections, especially for components that may go unnoticed for years. Thanks to the calm response of the crew and passengers and the design of the aircraft, the situation was resolved without injury. Want more true stories of chaos, courage, and calm under pressure? Hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming your way. We've seen chaos in the air and failures on the runway, but what happens when the sky brings danger to your beach day? This final incident didn't happen in the clouds. It happened right above a crowd of unsuspecting people. Passengers and crew were on alert, but thankfully everyone made it out safely. Speaking of unforgettable moments, have you ever had a close call at the beach? For visitors at Cocoa Beach in Florida on April 2021, a routine air show turned into something they'd never forget. During the Cocoa Beach Air Show, planes from various eras took flight from the nearby Patrick Space Force Base. Thousands of beachgoers gathered along the shore to watch historic and modern aircraft perform. Among them was the TBM Avenger, a vintage World War II plane. As it passed overhead, some spectators noticed the engine didn't sound quite right. Soon after, the aircraft experienced an engine failure mid-flight. The pilot quickly assessed the situation and began preparing for an emergency landing. Rather than attempting to return to the base, the pilot skillfully guided the aircraft toward the ocean. The plane made a controlled descent and landed in shallow water, avoiding any harm to people on the beach or in the sea. Fortunately, no one was injured. The pilot exited the aircraft without any reported issues, and no swimmers were in immediate danger. Emergency teams responded quickly, and the plane was later removed from the shoreline and transported back for evaluation. While the aircraft sustained significant damage, experts say it can be restored over time with extensive repairs. Most importantly, the pilot's safety was preserved, a top priority in any emergency. The incident served as a reminder of the importance of calm decision-making and prioritizing human life above all else. Though the TBM Avenger may take years to fully restore, the pilot's quick thinking ensured the event ended without injury. It was an unexpected moment during the Cocoa Beach Air Show, but thanks to proper training and response, it became a story of skill and safety, not a tragedy. If you were on one of these flights, what's the first thing you'd do? Freeze, pray, or jump into action? Let us know in the comments. Your survival instinct might surprise you. If you found today's video interesting, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Your support is very important to us. Be sure to check out the next video appearing on your screen. You're sure to love the content we bring. Please leave a comment about which country you'd like us to explore next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.